Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let me apologize first. Let me apologize twice. Firstly, because of my voice, I've never been as low, but this is, the bad side when you think about doing some end of the season workout in the rain on Friday, Saturday. So that was very stupid. Second time, I want to apologize because if the PYA invites a seagoing captain at the end of September and you think about I'm going to come here and talk about rules and regulations, that doesn't work. Especially since I've got a Swedish fundamentalist STCW complaining and he just talks about ISM and we talk about rules for 20 crew every day for several months. So yeah, this is me. I'll try. My presentation will be quick and light. It will be slightly different from what I initially thought about because first of all, as the presentation said, the Italian Yacht Master is a no-profit organization. We got together about 10 years ago to start doing a bit of a lobbying activity and give a bit of a guidance to our captains. Thanks to the PYA again for inviting us, being part of this important conference. I've been a member of the PYA since 1990-something. And Rod Edge has been one of my captains for a few weeks in the past, and John was actually signing one of my initially STCW certificates back in 1996. And he's good to see. There's a bit of a different audience. This morning I was a panelist sitting next to an astronaut, to this kind of a Jurassic old experienced captain audience. And I can see, I'm very happy to see the audience is a bit younger and good looking. Back to the original topic. The Italian Yacht Master has a duty. The duty is to guide our captains and to give them guidelines on what to do. So when we were invited to talk about the sea changes, we wanted to bring our experience, what we've done over the last couple of years during the pandemic, looking forward to the new challenges. So we decided to put together sustainable actions because we strongly believe it's time to stop complaining, time to stop going around the rules, and time to stop blaming the owners, the crew, the guests, the authorities, the semaphore, the pertusato. It's time to stop. We need to play a role. As a captain, I have a letter of authority, and this letter of authority states that I have overriding authority. There's no owners, no guest that's going to tell me to drop the anchor on the bloody Posidonia. No, no way. We need to play a role because we are there to do sustainable actions, and it's time to stop complaining about the rules and to follow them, because this is what we're certified for. So we decided, and this is going to be the topic of our next Captain's Day, to start taking action. And what we have done, going back in time over the last few years, we sat down to set up a new standard, and because there's a shortage of crew, there's a shortage of good crew and a shortage of good professionals, and we wanted to increase the benchmark and provide better professionals so we can get high managers, owners, and they can trust their captains. And we will train and mentor our crew to follow the rules. And obviously, we don't drive a ro-ro vessel, we don't drive a ferry, we sell dreams. We sell dreams, but we're not driving a toy anymore. We're not captain over 20 meters anymore. We've got responsibility. So, when the pandemic started, we decided to get together online once a week, because we had captains blocked in lockdown all over the Med and Caribbean, around the world, in Tahiti. And we wanted to share all this information so that everyone knew what was going on in Corsica, what was going on in Australia, Caribbean, and the Med. Because this is what we want to do, like create a networking of useful information. Actually, I was listening to the two ladies from the French Maritime Authority. As a captain, of course, we get a bit fed up of being called by every different semaphore when you cruise around Corsica. They call you 20 times in a day to ask you the same 5 different informations. Yeah, I would like to ask them if they do have a system. But whatever. Fine. Okay. At the end of the day, it's half a minute. I mean, it's not going to ruin our day. But yeah, we share this information. We get together online, and we want all our captains to be aware of what's going on in the Balearics, as Pietro suggested correctly. Yeah, maybe the French should enforce the same system they do in Formentera. Having just a small dinghy with a decky or with a sailor telling you when to drop the anchor. It's easy, doesn't cost much. Anyway, but there's also a lot we can do in Italy. By the way, if you want me to bother you with the last decree in Italy, 90 days extra European, you just tell me and I'm prepared. By the way, there's for those, especially the captains, there's no news about the extra European seafarers in Italy yet. It's meant to come up in October, end of October. So at the moment we have a bit of a restriction for the yachts going to shipyard and marinas in Italy for the extra European seafarers. Anyway, going back to the presentation, so we created a good networking group sharing these informations. And we believe that if we want to be ready for the sea changes, for the new millennium, we need to train our captains to be a better leader, a better mentor for our crew. And we do this through alternative training. As Rod, I've been the director of training of the ItalianYachtMasters, and believe me, it's a hell of a job, but trying to train captains who have every different certificate in the world. I mean, I've tried to propose polar code, and somebody said there's no ice in the Med. I've tried to propose helicopter landing officer operations, and there was 2 people attending. So we decided that this winter campaign will be about the brain, the behavior, try to understand our crew. Because if we tell our crew that I am not dropping my bloody iron on the Posidonia, he's not going to do the same when he's going to be a captain. Because this is the message we want to give to the industry. I mean, yeah, we can go around, as my friend Giorgio was saying before, yeah, I've got 9 lengths of chain on starboard side, I can easily drop my anchor on a 40-meter bottom. Somebody who's driving at 25 meters struggling, yeah, we know that. But there are alternative solutions. So we conduct our training on the financial side, on the risk assessment, and again, last but not least, the sustainable practices at sea. As I said before, we drive a floating dream. We all know that. We know the crude oil carrier. So yeah, I'm not stupid. I know my owners want me to drop the bloody anchor on the beach on the Posidonia. Yeah, I've done that before. But I think we need to start training our crew, training our owners. That's the challenge for the future. Don't forget that the new owners are millennials now. We're getting new owners born in 1987. And these guys are only 100+ meters. These guys got no idea what the Posidonia is. And if he's captains, he's got due respect for these captains. If the captain says no, it's no. It's as simple as that. So our message is, let's be perceived as professionals, and we will be strong enough to be trusted as professional from the guest, the crew, the charter guest. Yeah, it won't be easy, but this is what we believe. So yeah, back to a little bit of less chatty. Over the past few months, we have been working in conjunction with the PYA to solve some of the issues that came out with some easy certification. The position of the Italian Yacht Master is absolutely firm. Zero tolerance. There's no way anyone should go out there and get a bloody Belgium ticket in 28 hours of training, or a Montserrat ticket spending €3,500 and not sustaining any single training, any single exam, nothing. Well, you will have to forgive me as well, because the RIA has a massive responsibility about this. Because when we talk about the maritime authorities, we have 196 countries joining the IMO, but some countries allow certain royal association. I know there's a professional speaking after me, certainly disagree about that. But there are countries that allows other entities to release certification. Don't forget that 200 tons for the STCW does not exist. It's 500, 3,000, unlimited. So the MCA started something that we believe it's a business, fine. In Italy, the bureaucracy is so crazy that our captains are actually going to the MCA to get qualified. John knows very well that we've been boosting blue water with a lot of money over the last 12 But please, I think there should be more responsibility. We actually, Rod, as a part of the CHESMA, Association of the Confederation of European Shipmaster Association, the Italian Yacht Master has addressed a request to the Belgian authority to check what these 3 different schools are issuing at the moment. Some of the schools are issuing Belgian certificate of competency through a Croatian school. Yeah. We have, unfortunately, kicked out of our association captains who went to Albania, it's in Europe, yes, to get a Panama certificate. It's not in Europe, it's somewhere else. So I think we should get together to increase the efforts together. Yeah. And talking about the regulations, of course, a few years ago we had a very successful meeting at the Yacht Club of Monaco when we decided to go green, to discover what Odonia app was about, to the Posidonia. We discussed it with the same lady some 6 years ago. And yeah, I mean, we want to play a role. As we said before, our crew, millennial, the Generation Z, I've got crew members that are younger than my crew now, younger than my kids. They're 20 years old, and they ask me why we are polluting the sea. They don't even know what a generator is, but they can see the diesel in the water. And I mean, they're responsible. So we want to follow the regulation. And yeah, of course, there will be more strict emissions regulations, more strict acoustic emission in the future. Yeah, of course, the owner's not happy when you switch the underwater lights at midnight. But yeah, if that helps the marine environment, why not? I mean, it's not dramatic. So I think it's time to share the concerns of the industry and the local authorities and play a role. Last but not least, well, I've complimented John, but because I've been knowing him for over 25 years, I think there's a responsibility of the yachting industry, and I'm happy that somebody will talk about the gas program now. Because as a captain, I remember 20-something years ago, there was an incredible profession. He was the leading crew placement agent, a guy called Adrian Fisher. May he rest in peace. He was an amazing member of the POIA. He told me one day, look, if you want to be a captain one day, you need to come back to me with 10 years on yachts before I can even consider you for a position. And this guy said to me one day, don't go waste your money with ancillary training. If you decide a career path, just follow your dreams, follow your career. But nowadays, as a captain, again, a green stewardess from South Africa, 2 days ago on my desk, she has got more qualification than I do. She's got a bloody flower arrangement level 17, silver service level 19. I don't know what she does, but I mean, she comes to board, she doesn't even remove her shoes. So we should probably focus more on the qualifying training. And as professionals, I think we need to give our input to the training professionally, because this is where we're going to. Sea changes, it's changing. There's a crew shortage, we want to provide better crew. But I think we need to provide guidance to the professionals, training our crew, training our captains, training our people, so that in the future we will raise the benchmark of the category, and we won't have to sit down again and discuss about Posidonia anymore, because in the meantime, we all know bureaucracy is a big key point. If it wasn't for bureaucracy, we already had probably 60 or 70 boys off Saint-Tropez and Beaulieu. We know that. It's been going on for years. But yeah, sure, if we look at the next years, we have installed Starlink, we have ETO, we've got new technologies coming up in the market. I would suggest people like that to go and find specific training. There's a shortage of certain figures. And instead of, maybe even the recruiting company should stop telling greenies to go out there and get 12 different qualifying courses to get a job. Maybe tell them to go and they work for free, just to start up, get an experience on the CV. But yeah, it's training is important, but the attitude we pass on is more important. I think we should all play our part, inspiring our people, and the people around us. So what we do at the Italian Yacht Master nowadays is we gather more and more often, and we try to add creativity and passions. Don't forget about 25% of our captains are skipper in charter yachts, and we share the experience. Sometimes we have done something amazing for our charter guests, so we do share this experience. And I mean, we are a generation of the sharing, fire sharing, experience sharing. It's not about the latest selfie or the TikTok video. Let's use the technology and respect the environment, because we care about it and we want to believe that we care and our crew care. And last but not least, at Italian Yacht Master, we strongly believe that we need to empower our captains to be a part of this change for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Actually, Luca mentioned something. I'm new to yachting. I've only been working in yachting 2 years. Before that, I was working with journalists, and don't get me started. But I think I've noticed there is something that is extremely valuable in this industry that is not in others, and you mentioned it maybe without mentioning it. It's mentoring. The transmitting, giving forward, giving back. It teaches a lot, and it creates some good people. And we need to discuss how to do more of that, but this is definitely something that is important. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Don't shoot that. There was one yesterday.
No, it might not be the moment to ask, it might be something afterwards. I often have to take guests ashore in Italy sometimes I use water sports companies' channels to bring them towards the beach. And several times I've been approached by the operators of the water sport company telling me that we are not allowed to use their channel because we're not part of the water sports company.
Yeah, we had the same very bad experience, forgive me, the bad in Cannes and Monaco. The coast belonged to the state, so there's no private coast in the world. The coast itself belongs to the bloody territorial coast, to the authority. So they can tell you whatever we want. We have the same problems all the time. France,
So they
Corsica.
aren't actually allowed to use the water sports channel.
Let's say, depending on the situation, we had to drop 8 guests for a restaurant, and the closest pier is a private beach. I give a 50 to my decky or the bosun, whoever drives the tender. We try to be kind. I can't tell you this is the answer, but this is what I do on my vessel. And let's say, being kind and respectful for the others. We understand this is your corridor. You've been investing on your 25 boys. Would you mind? Usually, right.
It works.
Usually works, yeah.
But it was a translation of the Coast regulations specifically to do with water sports channels that I read that you are allowed to use them under the Italian coast regulations with a tender.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they might reject you because they have invested in platoons, but if you show you professional, you're not going to damage it.
Occasionally I have been approached basically in a very hostile manner.
Yeah, well, we do. I can tell you my experience. What we do with our tender drivers, we give them a few words in the local language, might be Turkish or Greek, and they say kalispera, whatever. And usually the others open up, smile, 50, and a good Turkish salutation that helps.
I was specifically talking about Italian water.
No, it doesn't work in Italy. We ask.
Thank you. Any other questions for Luca? Yes, back there, please.
Yes, you briefly mentioned about...
Can you speak up a bit?
Sorry. So you briefly mentioned about Belgian COCs, which we know aren't really accepted by certain flag states, such as Cayman Islands. Why would somebody obtain a Belgian COC? So say, for example, if they were from the UK, what are the benefits?
Okay, I can answer because I've been studying this particular situation. We need to try and understand what is the concept, well, the wrong concept behind the fact that an IMO country in white list, grey list or black list is automatically issuing certificates of white list, grey list, black list. That doesn't work. So we asked the Belgian authority, actually we appointed the Belgian Captains Association to appoint the ministry directly, because they were issuing easy, forgive me for the easy, it's not as easy as other countries, but easy certificates with tuition in English. I say, hey, wait a minute, you're Belgian, you want to go to Belgium and do a 24 hours course, okay, but now you're studying French or Flemish. Otherwise, I mean, we understand that certain training companies have the MCA examiners flying down at their expenses, sustaining proper exam. I've done my own class 4 million years ago. But the Belgium itself has a company called Naviclass, which is fully authorized by the Belgian authority to issue certificate of competence. This has been clarified. The reason why the Cayman Island might not accept or not, this I cannot confirm.
No, because
They don't.
They
The
don't.
whole Reddington group do not.
But Malta do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Further discussion.
precious European country. So according to the relation between the European country is what's happened with the FCA after the Brexit. At one moment they stopped it because there was no convention between countries. As soon as Belgium is a European country, there is a collateral convention between European countries. If someone issuing a STCW, COC or whatever it is, the other have to accept it. So other than you involve IMO, and IMO says, okay, you don't follow the STCW standard of training certification, at that point it can be fined and make some.
Well, the thing is, we're not talking about merchant navy COCs. We're talking about yacht certificates or commercial yacht certificate of competence. So that actually falls a little bit with outside the responsibility of the IMO. The IMO really don't really care about us. I mean, you can testify this. We're tiny compared to the merchant marine business. But yeah, we need to understand why there's a Croatian network. Nothing wrong with the Croatian, beautiful country. A Croatian network of training agents delivering Belgian tickets. Croatia is a European country, but the Croatia does not allow the issuance of European taught training. So this is an escamotage, to use a French word, to us. I think that should be brought to a higher level. And yeah, being the Baltics being run here, I think they should bring it to the attention of the ministry.
Can I just add something on this? I happen to be an ex-commercial 500 GRT STCW auditor, both for training institutes as well as on-board auditing. And I can say this, I've been now in the yachting industry the last year and a half, and I'm slowly getting used to the spaghettata of qualifications of anything which is below 500 GRT and above, and below, sorry. All I can say is this: some authorities are using certain things within the STCW, and some authorities are not. And sometimes they use the same authority may use it sometimes. And like you just said, first you said at the beginning, the master that has overriding authority, you are quoting ISM. When you are a master and you feel that that person does not have the competence, the relevance of his qualification, then you as a master should be obliged or should take the decision that that person is not competent to be on board. Because if you're quoting ISM as the master having the overriding responsibility, you must also quote ISM that the person must be competent, irrelevant of his certification.
Yes, but sometimes we forget that when you drive a pleasure vessel, a vessel registered for private use, you're completely outside any regulation apart from MARPOL. Well, if it's commercial, then you're fully compliant. Well, we all know it's exactly the same crew, probably the same owner. So yeah, we on a boundary. We know that.
So what I'm trying to say is that it boils down to competency, irrelevant of certification. So if the master believes that that particular crew member or that person is not in a position to be competent, then something should be done about that. Or else that responsibility goes back on the master. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So
Okay.
if we're going to play the game, then we must play it like you just said, straight at the beginning. Overriding authority. So that's all I can say. If we apply STCW, it's straightforward. It's very clear what are the certifications.
Well, I can tell you, I drive a 74-meter private yacht under Cayman Island. I don't need a license to drive it. I do not. I can drive with a piece of paper. Well, there's a friend of mine driving a 26-meter yacht, Monaco flag, in Monaco, with a certificate of competence issued by Panama, not under the STCW format, not referring to the IMO model course only certificate, and issued by a training school in Albania.
Well, there is much to do and to say. We could be here in 2 weeks' time, and I thought the oil and gas industry was complex.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and there is much to do.